A pleasant good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to Focal Online TV. Welcome to the daily edition of Inside the Print Media. This morning, I am your presenter. My name is Gregphina, and I'm here to inform you about the happenings within our country, Liberia, on this platform called the daily edition of Inside the Print Media. So we encourage you to kindly share our live stream. Better still, drop a message for us in the comment section as it relates to our top news stories here. So let's look at the papers this morning. We have in studio, we have the Daily Observer newspaper, we have Front Page Africa newspaper, we have New Dawn newspaper, and Hot Pepper newspaper. For Daily Observer newspaper, the first headline says LDEA arrests list officer with 7.54G hooch. LDEA arrests list officer with 7.54G hooch. This is so much interesting as well. What is in the print this morning for Daily Observer newspaper? Waka avoids government shutdown. Waka avoids government shutdown, signs US 41.3 million spending bill. Waka avoids government shutdown, signs US 41.3 million spending bill. Another interesting top story on the Daily Observer newspaper. New down. What is in the print this morning? Intrusion at Justice Cast's residence. Intrusion at Justice Cast's residence again. Several items stolen. Intrusion at Justice Cast's residence again. Several items stolen. This is from the New Dawn newspaper. Prophet Key escapes detention. Prophet Key escapes detention. This is another interesting top story from New Dawn. Prophet Key escapes detention and made upheaval appearance at Temple of Justice. Prophet Key escapes detention and made upheaval appearance at Temple of Justice. What is in the print this morning from Page Africa newspaper? Controversial boost over recent appointments at NOCA as critics highlight lack of sector-specific experience. Controversial boost over recent appointments at NOCA as critics highlight lack of sector-specific experience. Another interesting top story on the front page Africa newspaper. American man who attempted to kill his wife face court hearing. American man who attempted to kill his wife faced court hearing. This is another interesting one as we've been following this story. If you have not, and there's this American man who is a clergyman as well, and he got married to this Liberian young girl, and he had an encounter with her as it relates to attempted murder. And yes, he should be going to court by February 2024. He should be at the court for hearing. So this is another interesting story. His name is Luca Rachel. So let's dive into this morning as well. It's a top story. Hot Pepper newspaper says LWSC managing director tours entity facilities. Hot Pepper newspaper says LWSC managing director tours entities facilities. Of course, the new director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation is no one else but Muhammad Ali, that you may know, Muhammad Ali, and he's the managing director there for now. So yeah, this is so much interesting. Let's dive into this to know why he carrying on this observation, why he's touring around the country, that particular entity side. So yeah, folks, thanks for joining us this morning. This is how we inform you. We take a short break. When we get back, I'll fill you in on the news in details relating to the Hot Pepper newspaper, the Daily Observer newspaper, Front Page Africa, and New Dawn. Kindly stay with me this morning as I'll be right back with the news presentation. Thank you and I love you.
Focal TV. bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we bring it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Focal.
Good morning and welcome back to the daily edition of Inside the Print Media with your news presenter. My name is Gregphina LDEA arrest list officer with 7.54 G Cooch. LDEA arrest list officer with 7.54 G Cooch. This is another interesting story. An officer of the Liberian Immigration Service list has been arrested by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency (LDEA) on charges of trafficking narcotics. The officer, identified as Cyrus David, was apprehended in Tapata on February 6, 2024. It is alleged that David was using his uniform for clandestine drug-related activities, allegedly trafficking about 7.54 grams of the narcotic substance known as coach. Thomas Say, the LDA Nimba County commander, told the Daily Observer that Officer Cyrus David and another suspect, Joseph Colley, had been charged with various offenses, including unlicensed distribution, transportation, possession, and trafficking of narcotic drugs. Drugs crimes that contravene Section 14.103, 14.107, and 14.11 of the amended Penal Law of Ot. 17, 2024. Thomas Say, the LDA Nema County commander, told the Daily Observer that Officer Cyrus David and another suspect, Joseph Colley, have been charged with various offenses. He was caught red-handed by my officer carrying on the transaction, but lied of seizing it from a trafficker whom he couldn't show us, Say said. The estimated value of the seized drugs is approximately US 423,000.25, equivalent to about LD 80,000. Following his arrest, David was initially taken to the local authorities of the Liberia Immigration Service in Ganta, where he was relieved of his duties by PISD Division of the Lakes. He was subsequently handed over to the LDEA for prosecution. Both individuals have been sent to the Saniquele Magisterial Court and are currently in jail awaiting for their court trial. Officer Cyrus David, 37, reportedly claimed that he obtained the drugs from a dealer in Tapata. However, he failed to provide any evidence of the alleged dealer to the LDA upon his arrest. The LDA disclosed that David was caught in the act of carrying out the transaction, but could not substantiate his claim of having confiscated the narcotics from a trafficker. It is worth noting that Officer Cyrus David had previously been linked to an accident of firing his weapon in a neighborhood in Ganta in February 2022. This incident caused panic among residents and led to concerns about the officer's behavior in association with drug abusers. The incident at the time, which happened near the Guinea-Liberia border in Uganda, lasted about 2 minutes and caused many to think that their community was under attack by armed gangs. They were later informed that the pandemonium was being caused by Officer David. Narrating the incident at the time, Satama said the officer entered his home at about 3 a.m., claiming that he was in search of a criminal, and while leaving, he fired his gun twice. penetrating the ceiling and wall from the hallway of the four-bedroom house. He did not come with an arrest warrant, but ordered all the occupants to get on their knees, demanding that all the room doors be opened so he could search for the criminal Tamasir. It was also noted that Ganta residents have often complained that David was always in the company of drug abusers. Meanwhile, as the latest legal process unfolds, the LDEA says it is committed to pursuing justice and ensuring that individuals involved in illegal drugs activities are held accountable for their actions. Waka avoids government shutdown, signs US 41.3 million spending bill. President Joseph Human Bouaka on Wednesday signed US 41.3 million spending bill that will keep the government functional and afloat till the end of February 2024. This move is intended to avoid shutdown. The top priorities in February's spending bill include compensation of salary for government employees, which constitutes US 26 million, percentage 63, debt servicing US 5.7 million, 14%. The president's 100-day deliverables agenda US 1,941,210, that is 5%, and other goods and services, that is 2,014,000. However, the president's submission of the US 41.3 million spending bill is a swift reaction to an imminent shutdown of the government due to the lack of current operational budget. Intrusion at Justice Scott's residence. Intrusion at Justice Scott's residence. For the fourth time in a year, the Virginia residence of former Chief Justice Laura Musu Scott has been invaded by unidentified persons, this time making away with several items including a flat screen television set. Justice Scott and three members of her family are remanded at the Monroeville Central Prison, awaiting hearing into an appeal filed before the Supreme Court after their conviction at Criminal Court A in November 2023 for murder. The intruders have reportedly been arrested by the help of community members who called the police and took the individuals to local depots in Virginia Zone 6 base. There have been series of complaints reported of unidentified intruders accessing the compound and making away with things and sometimes sleeping in, according to some neighbors. The question of a possibility of intrusion into the former Chief Justice residence was a major factor during the months long murder trial after investigators of the Liberia National Police ruled out any possibility that anybody could intrude into the house, a conclusion that defense lawyers vehemently resisted through evidence, including expert testimony, insisting that there were many possibilities of intrusion and that the murder was committed by an intruder on the night of February 22, 2023. During a trial at the lower court, Criminal Court A, defense raised the issue that unknown persons were still accessing the compound and making away with items. But prosecutions argued that it was a family member by the name of Anthony Musu who also go into the compound under the pretext of feeding dogs there. George Willie Roosevelt Zell Willie therefore ruled that no family member should visit the premises and that the police be in charge of the compound. The continuous accessing and intrusion of the compound is now being viewed as another validation of the intrusion alarm raised by Councillor Scott and her family, which police said was false information to the law enforcement officers. The incidents of invasion or intrusion are also being seen as a validation that the compound is not as fortified or protected as the police made it to appear, and this could further diffuse the government's theory of no intrusion, which is the main basis on which Councillor Scott and family members were charged and convicted for killing another family member, Shalom Musu, on February 22, 2023. It may be recalled that the head of the police investigation team, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Moro A. Dennis, about 2 weeks ago made many startling revelations on a local radio hot FM from the United States. ACP Dennis on the phone from US informed the public through the local radio show that the investigation findings didn't suggest the crime mentioned in indictment, but heavy hands interfered and insisted that Councillor Scott and her family are being charged for such. This is so much interesting as well. Prophet Key escapes detention and made a pivotal appearance at Temple of Justice. Controversial Liberian social media talk show host Nayabokwa Opa Yezen, alias Prophet Key, on Thursday, February 15, escaped jail sentence after he was released on personal recognizance borne by the magistrates of the Monrovia City Court. Mr. Yeze appeared before Magistrate L. Ben Barkan to answer the writ of arrest issued against him for the crime of criminal coercion, menacing and disorderly conduct filed by the Liberia Cultural Ambassador Judy Endy. However, the following his appearance, the defendant was detained and placed on prison bench at the court and later pleaded not guilty to the charges brought against him. In brief argument from both teams, prosecution prayed the court to issue a red knee exit Republica to prevent defendant Yese from leaving the country. Prosecution at the same time prayed the court for the defendant to file a valid criminal appearance bond. However, in resisting to the prosecution agreement, the defense prayed that the court to deny and dismiss prosecution's request on ground that it lacks legal standing, instead urging the court to grant the defendant's personal recognizance and continuance. Personal recognizance means a release without a requirement of a posting bill based on a written promise by the defendant to appear in court when required to do so. On the other hand, continuance is what a court may grant to delay proceedings until a later date. Parties in suit or the judge themselves may also be having continuance granted in order to prepare for proceedings. In brief argument from both teams, prosecution prayed the court to issue a red knee exit Republica to prevent defendant Yeze from leaving the country. Prosecution at the same time prayed the court for defendants to file a valid criminal appearance bond. This is so much interesting, and this is from our own prophet, Prophet Key, as it relates to some bad characteristics that most of the time he portray on the social media, like abusing people, using abusive languages on females, males, and he just don't care. So this time around, there is someone who is saying it's not going to be like this. You don't have to insult people. You don't have to insult me anymore. We take it to the court. And yes, this is a good step that Judy Andy took, and I respect her for that. No argument about it. She took a very good step, and I hope and pray that the court rule as it should be. That this man realize that what he is doing is totally wrong and he needs to put stop to it. Another thing is you cannot say you want to be a cultural ambassador and you exhibit all of these bad attributes. It's so bad. So these are things that needs to stop. And so be honest, you see Liberian hailing this man. Can you imagine this man came into the country on February 14 and you see people hailing, I mean, hailing him for what? For abusing people? Even if you have certain hidden secrets you want to inform the Liberian people about that is in the Liberian people interest, that is showing transparency, you are talking about corruption and everything. Is that the proper way to do so by abusing? You have kids nowadays who are on social media and most of them know this particular man called Prophet Key. I mean, he abuses a whole lot. He does not have respect for females, neither males. Even the president of this country. He doesn't have respect for him. He goes ahead, he insult former President George Manuria. He goes ahead, he insult Joseph Yuma Bwaka, and then come back and say he wants to be or cultural ambassador. Who does that? That's the question. So I mean, this particular thing needs to stop. He needs to examine himself and know this is not right. You cannot go ahead and just insult anyone or just insult anybody because you find it suiting to yourself. No, no, no. You don't do things like that. Then you say you won't be cultural ambassador. How would that work? How is it the Unity Party gonna make Prophet Key a cultural ambassador? Even if Judy Andy will not be the cultural ambassador, not Prophet Key, please, someone who is not exhibiting no good attributes, just insult here and there. Whether you're a pastor, you're a clergyman, he insults you, our mother, someone who is even way younger, older than him, because we are Africans now. Somebody who is way younger, older than him, you go ahead and you insult the person. You don't have respect for leaders. So why should we make you a cultural ambassador? For what reason? What is it that you have shown over the years that we should make you cultural ambassador? Go and face the court. So this is it. Prophet Keys escaped detention. So this is it. This is so much interesting. He had been issued a writ of arrest for criminal coercion, menacing and disorderly conduct filed by the cultural ambassador Julie Indy. And this is so much impressive from her end, and I do appreciate that. So we have front page Africa newspaper. Controversial brews over recent appointments at NOCA as critics highlight lack of sector specific experience. TC Prince, good morning, Gregphina and Fofa TV. Thank you for the presentation. I'm watching from my study room. Thanks to you, Prince, for following us this morning. I do appreciate all of you following us this morning. The appointment of former lawmaker Rostolin Swakoko Dennis as the head of NOCA, along with two vice presidents, has sparked controversy due to alleged violation of existing laws governing such appointments. The NOCA law of 2016 clearly outlined procedures for the appointment of key positions within the organization, emphasizing the need for Senate consent and industry-specific expertise. However, the recent appointment appeared to have sidestepped these legal requirements, raising questions about adherence to the rule of law and the government's commitment to transparent governance. One of the major concerns voiced by industry experts is the lack of sector-specific experience among the appointed officials in a highly technical industry like oil and gas. Furthermore, the absence of leadership within Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority (LPRA) compounds the challenge facing the sector. As the primary regulatory body responsible for attracting investment and overseeing operations, the LPRA plays a critical role in shaping the sector's future. However, its current state of disarray, characterized by a lack of funding and leadership, presents a significant obstacle to Liberia's aspiration of becoming a major player in the global oil and gas market. This is another interesting story. American man attempted to kill his wife face court hearing. American man attempted to kill his wife face court hearing. American man attempted to kill his wife face court hearing. The case involving the American national who attempted to harm his Liberian wife, is set for a hearing on Wednesday, February 21, 2024 at 10 a.m. Defendant Luca Graychick was arrested in September 2023 after trying to escape following an attempt to harm his Liberian wife, Jessica Lord, in the Dixville community, Monrovia, Liberia. Defendant Richard was charged with the crimes of criminal attempt to commit murder and aggravated assault, and later indicted by the grand jury. In October, lawyers representing defendant Richard filed a motion to Criminal Court A requesting that he be granted bail. The motion was granted by Court A Judge Roosevelt Willie, but with several conditions. Judge Willie demanded that defendant Richard be placed on travel restriction with all his travel documents turned over to the court and be required to sign in the sheriff's office 3 times a week. Since October, defendant Richard has been abiding by the court's order. Initially, when defendant's lawyer filed for the motion for bail, prosecutors opposed it, expressing concern that he might flee. Upon hearing the motion, the judge imposed measures to ensure the defendant compliance and emphasized that crimes leveled against him were all bailable. Before being brought to court, victim lawyer's twin brother gave several interviews indicating that his sister and her American husband had met nearly a year ago while he came as an evangelist to their school. According to him, defendant Rachel used to visit their school in Baptist Seminary as a guest lecturer, where he met his sister and fell in love with her. He explained that defendant Rachel established contact with her family and expressed his desire to marry Jessica, stating he was a Christian and did not want to commit any fornication. The family found his request appropriate and granted it based on the defendant's portrayal for himself. However, the twin brother mentioned that defendant Richard had lied about being married before, claiming that Jessica was his first wife. He further explained that as the time approached for defendant Richard to turn to his country, he clandestinely took his sister's phone and deleted all the traditional marriage photos they had. In September, defendant Rachel went to Jessica, who was already at her mother's place, as his request, stating that he did not want his wife to feel lonely after he had left Liberia. The twin brother told journalists that a few weeks before their outing, defendant Rachel had knowingly given Jessica some medication that terminated her early pregnancy. On the day of the incident in September 2023, defendant Richard and Jessica left her mother's house to have fun, unaware of his sinister motives. During their journey, defendant Richard claimed he needed to urinate and asked Jessica to accompany him to a nearby bush. When he stopped the car, he took out a knife, claiming he was afraid of snakes. As they walked toward the bush, Jessica hesitated and stuck close behind him, which prevented him from carrying out his intentions. They returned to the car and continued their journey. A few miles away, defendant Richie asked Jessica to walk with him to a graveyard, stating it was a common practice in their country. Jessica, however, expressed fear and declined. Claiming a flat tire, defendant Richie asked Jessica to help him unscrew it. While she was assisting him, he allegedly struck her on the head with a metal object. Jessica recounted feeling something behind her head and being dragged, but she couldn't comprehend what was happening. Motorcyclists came and came to her rescue and took her phone and took her home while her throat was partially slashed. Hot Pepper Newspaper, LWSC Managing Director. LWSC Managing Director towards entity facilities. The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation has welcomed its newly appointed Managing Director Mohamed Ali, who recently embarked on a tour of the entity facilities. Cynthia Kwansel reported. Speaking on Tuesday, February 15, 2024, during an engagement and dialogue with workers of the institution, Mo Ali expressed his appreciation for their efforts while also setting forth his vision for the future of LWSC. The LWSC board said the importance of being diligent and committed to their work is to bring honor and success to the institution. He highlighted the significance of using resources such as chemicals for water purification for their internal purpose rather than engaging in unauthorized activities like selling debt. This is how we close down on our new segment for today. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Thanks to you for being here with us from Monday to Friday on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media. My name is Gregphina Courage. I wish you a happy weekend and hoping that I can see you again next week. Thank you so much.